I-10 headed to Texas. I'm on this 4th of July motorcycle trip with my uncle. Nice day to ride. We're sitting at about 80 degrees. I'm in my Icon 2 patrol boots. I've been riding those for the last couple of days. Started in South Carolina, rode down to Mississippi, and then from Mississippi we hit the Gulf Coast down in the Biloxi area, and now we're headed to Houston, Texas. We're going to finish it up with a trip to Dallas. Nope, we're not going to Dallas. We're going to finish up from Houston and head back over to Shreveport, Louisiana. Then we're going to break off, and he's going to go up through Arkansas to head back up to Tennessee, and I'm going to cut through and go back to Mississippi. So today is just a ride headed towards Houston, Texas. We got about 4 hours left, 316 miles, easy day. It's probably going to be about a 5-hour ride with the gas stops. We've been stopping about every 100 and about 120, about 120 miles. Stretch, water, gas, bathroom, and then we're back on the road again. I'm on a 2018 Road Glide CVO that I call Storm, and my uncle is on a 2009 Harley Davidson Ultra Classic. I found him that bike about a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago now, and it was one of those garage finds where fully loaded, got everything on it, and I think the bike had maybe 8,000 miles on it, or 7,000, maybe 7 something, and he's at about 12,000 now. So he's putting some miles on it this weekend, and me and him are planning more and more trips to ride together so we can both get out and stretch these bikes out. But today is just a beautiful day to ride. We're going away from the rain. It's supposed to be raining back towards Mississippi area, so we're going into the heat, the Texas heat. So today is just, we're trying to chop down as many miles as we can today. We're going to meet up with my uncle's daughter, which is my cousin, and her husband. Her husband is a rider, but we're going to meet them at their house for a little get together. And then after that, he's going to pull his bike out, and we're going to do some riding around the local areas for the next couple of days, and then we're going to head out. We're definitely practicing social distancing. We got our face masks, we got our gloves. We're checking temperatures. Like a temperature party. As soon as you come in the house, we're checking temperatures and monitoring, and we're maintaining a safe distance. So we're trying to be safe as much as possible while still trying to enjoy some family time. Ever since the pandemic hit, we've definitely missed out on a lot of family functions. So people are trying to get back to normal as much as possible, or what the new norm is, and the new norm is practicing social distancing while still trying to enjoy your life. So just in case you guys were worried about that. But right now it's all about the I-10. Well, we're actually headed to I-10 towards Baton Rouge. Like I said, we came from the Gulf Coast area. So yesterday we were doing some riding, and man, we got caught in the rain. It's one of those rains where you don't have time to put on the rain gear. We came over a bridge, and once we topped the bridge, it was a boom. It was just a pour down. So needless to say, we got soaked. We was probably in there for about 40 minutes, and by the time we got somewhere we could pull over to put on rain gear, it was too late. We was already wet, so we just buckled down and rode through it. it seems like that always happened to me. I always have rain gear. I never take my rain gear off the bike, but I always get caught in the rain. Even if I look ahead for rain, I don't get a warning sign. I always just get hit by the rain. So I need to do better planning when it comes to rain. We're about 37 miles outside of I-10, 10 West, headed towards Baton Rouge. And if any of you've ever ridden this before, you know it's a straight shot. Straight shot to Houston. So we're just gonna ride. Been hydrating. Weather's supposed to get pretty hot today. It's supposed to climb up to about 96. Let me see. I don't know why. If I gotta complain about anything about the Road Glide, it's the way that they position the screen right in the sun. You can't see anything. But right now the Road Glide is saying 78. We tried to get an early start. I'm kind of wishing that we could have got even earlier start, but we got out of the hotel about 7-ish. And right now it's 9:48, almost 10 o'clock. So, yeah, we got 300 miles to go. Easy day. So we're gonna do a little bit of riding. Enjoying this motorcycle 4th of July vacation with my uncle. I'm very blessed to have all my family, but they're very blessed to be able to ride with my uncle. I always grew up watching him ride motorcycles and different things like that, and I always wanted to, ride with him, so definitely a blessing. He was originally on I think it was a Voyager Honda. Not really sure. I'll find out. I know it's a Honda. And he just wanted to move into the Harley group. A lot of his buddies ride Harleys. So he gave me a call and asked me if I could find him one, and I found that deal from another guy that I worked with. And I think it was an awesome deal. He paid well below market value for that bike, and it wasn't even at 10,000 miles. So, very good buy. I told him if he didn't want it, I was going to buy it for myself. Although I don't need it, but it was just one of those deals that you couldn't pass up. I mean, nothing wrong with the bike. I got it. That's the time when I was in Virginia, and I rode it, to North Carolina and back. No problem. So, beautiful bike. And again, it's a definite blessing to be able to ride with them. So, we're going to do a little bit more riding. And I'll cut you guys back on as we get closer. Once we pull over again at the 100-mile mark, I'll cut you guys back on. We just turned up miles. Oh! The Legend suspension is doing a awesome job. And it just reminded me when I hit those bumps. When I get back, I'll be able to do my 1,000-mile review. I'm gonna have really about 1,500 miles on the front suspension, and I got about 3,000 miles after this trip on the rear suspension. And I can't say nothing but good things right now. The front end is planted. I can feel the front end take the bumps now instead of passing the bumps through the bike, if that makes sense. It used to be when I hit a bump, it'll hit the frame and pass through the frame to me. Now it hits I feel it hit the tire and it hit the shocks, and I feel a rebound on the shocks, and I feel nothing. So, and I hit some pretty, if you ever ridden in Mississippi area, you know that the roads aren't the best, depending on, I was in the Jackson and some of the country areas in Forest over by Meridian, Mississippi. And I hit a couple of bumps. I didn't try to, but I did. And the shocks handle it real well, especially driving on the road. I mean, I'm very planted as to where the factory shocks I kind of would squirm. I even got a chance to ride do a little two-up riding. Although I didn't adjust the shocks or the weight, it still felt pretty good. But the way that I have it set up now for me, man, I do see where everybody is. I see what the hype is all about now. It is a definitely big improvement to the ride. I'm not gonna say it's a must because they're kind of expensive. I mean, I got almost $2,000 in shocks, you know, so, and I'm not rich by any means, and that's a very hard investment for a motorcycle. But I will say, if you can afford it and it's not going to break the bank, I would say it's a good improvement for the overall ride. It's a really good improvement, especially if you're like me with shoulder and back issues. I mean, anything that'll help the ride be a little bit more comfortable is almost worth the money to me. If it can extend the riding for me, and if I can get off the bike and still be able to function afterwards, it's good for me. It's worth the money. I'll find the money somewhere. I'll cut your grass if I have to. It is some very nice countryside. Although it's going to be warm today, it's going to be overcast for the whole day. So I can take that. If it's going to be hot, at least it's going to be overcast while it's hot. Hopefully you can see my uncle in the rearview mirror. He got it. We went to a local hauler, got him some highway pegs, so he's kicked up. I got to hook him up with a communication system. I think about going with a Center 20S for him, because you can find those out there now on eBay secondhand. And just get him more equipped for traveling distance. You know, he'll travel distance, but you know, I want him to have a little bit more of the comforts. You know, the way he can talk on the phone, and got him hooked up with his Bluetooth on his phone to the stereo, so now he can listen to some of his music. You know, all about making the ride a little bit more enjoyable. But like I said, we're gonna do a little ride, and I'll cut you guys back on as we get closer, when we pull over at the next 100-mile rest stop, and we're about 80 miles from that.